Are you being productive or are you just being busy? Because these are two entirely different things. And I have been so guilty of this in the past. You're not alone in this. We kind of, as a society, place this, success around being busy. When someone asks, how have you been? Oh, I've been busy. Like, how's work? Oh, it's been really busy. We're complaining about being busy, but at the same time, we're bragging about being busy because that's the thing that tells people that we're doing good because we're busy. I am a total sucker for gold stars. Remember when you're a kid and you get like the little gold star sticker to put on your behavior chart at school, or you turn all your work in and you get like a little star next to your name, or maybe you had a chore chart at home. If you do all your chores, you get a little sticker. I was a total sucker for the gold star. Maybe because I didn't get them often because I wasn't the best behaved kid in the world. But now that I'm an adult, I still am always kind of looking for my gold stars. So they aren't actually little gold star shaped stickers anymore, but they're more like a feeling now. So the feelings like validation and acknowledgement or achievement, those are the things that are my gold stars now. And I used to always think that the gold stars were in being busy. And I'm one of these people that needs this like constant reward and acknowledgement and validation for what I'm doing, which is a story for another time. But I used to always think that being busy was the thing. And at some point on this journey, I realized that I was measuring my value based on busyness and how many things I'm checking off of my list rather than the results I was getting from the things that were filling up my time. And my eyes were completely opened when I realized that the real gold stars are actually in those results I'm getting and not in adding and checking things off my to-do list. So what do I mean by busy? I have the perfect example for this. When I worked at Pizza Hut, so before I was a tattoo artist, I worked at Pizza Hut. I was a manager there. And we had a kid that worked in the kitchen who was just the epitome of busy, because this kid he's like running around back and forth, like yelling. He's moving really quickly and saying a lot of things, but he's not really doing anything. He's just kind of making a mess and making a bunch of mistakes. And often we would just send him home because he kind of just made things worse and more stressful and was not really helping in any way. So I would call him busy. So it was almost like he was just like filling up the time with like a bunch of motions that did not equal making a pizza or getting a delivery out on time. So if our goal every day during the dinner rush is to make the pizzas accurately, deliver them on time, and then at the end of the night reset the store, nothing he's doing is helping us get there. And making mistakes and making messes, not super high on the priority list for the night, right? And a lot of us are like this. We're just busy, doing. And where is it getting us? Are we getting any closer to our actual goal? What even is that goal? If you don't even know what your goal is, guys, I have the perfect workbook for this. It's called the Goal Getter Workbook. It's a free download on my website. If you go to boundbyart.com/goals, you can download that for free, and it will help you work through everything and figure out exactly what you want and what your goals are. You can't really figure out how to be productive in getting to your goals if you don't even know what they are. So start there. But assuming that you already know what it is you want for yourself, for your business, for whatever it is you're working on, you have to make sure that your daily activities and tasks are matching the result that you're looking for. Do you ever notice that when you work on a project, it always seems to take the exact amount of time that you have allotted for it? For example, my daughter's chore right now is to do the dishes. So if we have to leave in an hour, I ask her to do the dishes before we go. It's going to take her that whole hour to do the dishes. If we had to leave in 30 minutes, could she still get those dishes done? Of course she could, especially if there's something fun involved in wherever we're going. Could she even do them in 5 minutes? I've literally seen this kid bust out the dishes in a handful of minutes when it was a matter of, if you're done in time, you can come to the carnival with us. And when she's motivated properly, this girl can hustle. So if she can do it in 5 minutes, Why would it take her 30 minutes? Why would it take her an hour? Why wouldn't she just do it in 5 minutes? Well, for one, she's a kid, and for two, she has ADD like me. So, but she's not the only one that's guilty of this. We all do this, and we do it without even realizing that we're doing it. Just recently, I decided for tattoo conventions that if I'm going to enter something in the contest, so say the show is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., the tattoo of the day judging is at 10 p.m. So I know I have from 11 to 10 to get this tattoo done so that I can enter it in time. Knowing how I'm giving myself until 9 p.m. to finish. So I'm giving myself a smaller window to do the same amount of time, because it doesn't matter how much time I give myself. Every single convention, I'm working right up into the last minute. So if I'm telling myself, you have to get this done by 9, and I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, I only have 3 hours, I only have 2 hours, I only have 1 hour, 30 minutes. I'm constantly pushing myself to get this done in the allotted time. And it works out where I finish at 9 p.m. Then I have time for my client to, like walk around and put a witch hazel soak on it to try and get the redness out before judging and stuff. So I'm not scrambling the last second to get up there. I'm scrambling the last second at 9 p.m. because that's my due date in my mind, or my, the time that it's due in my mind. And I'm scrambling to get it done then, but then I still have this buffer. So why is it I can get it done in an hour less time when before, if I knew I had until 10, I took the whole time? Because our tasks tend to expand the time that we give them. And I catch myself doing this constantly. I like to call it time traveling because that sounds fun and not serious, but the truth is, it is serious. We don't have time. At least that's what us busy people say constantly. If we don't have time to waste, why are we wasting it then? It's pretty simple, because we aren't paying attention to how we're spending our time. This is where the time audit comes in. And I know that you probably hate this and the idea of this, but you have to audit your time. If you ever want to fully understand where you're losing your time, you have to know how you're spending it. The first way that I learned to do a time audit was with a spreadsheet, and that's really just not convenient for me. I'm not sitting in front of a computer except for Mondays when I do this sort of thing and my admin stuff, but otherwise, I'm not really sitting in front of a computer. So that didn't work for me. That could possibly work for you, and if it does, great. Use a spreadsheet, log your time. I use a notebook and I just carry it around with me, and I can just, everything that I do, write it down. And I used to do this when I would audit my time. I would do the entire week, and I realized that there's really no point to me auditing my time during tattoo days. So I just do it on admin days now, so they can see what's going on that day that I need help with and where I can fix some things, because tattoo days, I literally will write tattoo, and it's every 15 minutes for 8 hours that day. But the idea is to log every single thing you do within 15-minute increments and just write it down. If you fuck around on your phone for 15 minutes, write it down. If you start doom scrolling on TikTok, fucking write it down. So if you start something and then stop and do something else, and then you come back to the thing and then you start doing something else, write every single thing down, because this is important. This is how you figure out where your time is getting sucked up. And then you can go back afterwards and look through and see exactly where all of your time is being spent. You can see which things you shouldn't be doing, which things you should be doing more of, and so on. There's a saying, if you want something done, ask a busy person. And they say this because busy people know how to prioritize their time to get things done. They have experience juggling a million different things and have figured out how to cram more into their day. But if you want a crash course on being more productive, have a kid, because you will figure it out quick. And I always wonder, when I look back, I'm like, what the hell did I do with my time before I had kids? Because I'm able to fit all the things that I used to do into my day still. And on top of that, taking care of my kids and all the 9 million things that come along with being a parent. So again, the reason for this is we start to expand our tasks and projects to fit the amount of time that we give them. So before we had kids, we had all this time. And now we have a much smaller span of time to do all this in, and we're figuring out better ways to do it. And we're figuring out how to be more efficient. It's kind of similar to eating on a smaller plate if you want to eat less food, right? You kind of give yourself a giant plate, you're going to put all the shit into your giant plate and you're going to end up overeating. Same thing with prioritization, where if you are giving yourself all of this time and space to do things, you're just going to keep filling that time. Whether it's with the same task that you just drag out longer, or you start adding in other shit that doesn't fucking matter, and you just have to stay busy and fill your entire day. People are always asking me how I'm able to get so much done. And the truth is, I struggle just like you. I always feel like there's not enough time in the day, which is why I'm always trying to find ways to save myself time and be more efficient and be more productive. So if the activity is not matching my end goal, what I just did is a total fucking time sucker and essentially just set me back however long it took me to do the thing, right? So if time is our currency here and we're already busy, maybe you're married and you have small kids, or you work full time and you go to school, or you work full time and you have like a side gig or a business that you're trying to start up. Whatever it is, your currency here is time. And if your schedule is already packed, you're broke and it's time to start clipping coupons. Is this analogy working? I don't know. Stay with me here. So when you're trying to save money, you're looking at your bills and your spending, right? And you find all of the places where you're spending way too much and what subscriptions can you cancel and why am I paying for 2 Netflix, which I, by the way, still need to fucking cancel that other one. What can you cut out and how can you be spending your money smarter? If we think about saving time in this way, you have to look at where you're spending your time. So if I asked you, what do you do all day? Tell me where you're spending your time and where you're wasting it. And you'd probably tell me how you think you spend your day. Now, let's say you tracked your entire week with the time audit, and each day, start to finish, you logged every single thing that you did in 15-minute increments. And I asked you to look at your time log and tell me where you actually spent the most of your time. Do you think that your answer would be the same? I can almost guarantee you it will not be. The first time you do one of these time audits is almost shocking. You'll quickly see all the dumb shit that you're just pissing your day away with and all of the things that you're doing that do not matter. And I highly, highly recommend that you do this and do it regularly. This isn't just a one and done kind of thing. Like, you're not going to do a time audit and be like, oh, here's all of my problems. I'm going to fix them real quick and then never do it again. I do these every 90 days or so because, again, what we think we're doing and how we think we're spending our time is incredibly different than what's actually happening. And you're not going to know that unless you're paying attention and you're actually checking in on these things. It can be a real wake-up call to someone who feels like they never have time for anything. You might find out one day that you wasted 2 hours getting ready to do something and then you never actually did the thing. You will for sure see all the places where you could have spent your time smarter. The time audit is not meant to like scrap everything that you're doing and completely start over. It's just to make you aware of what's going on so you can begin to make small adjustments wherever you can. It's the little changes every day that start to add up and you'll start to recover your time little by little. And each day you can choose to do this one little thing differently and just see what happens. Maybe it's setting your clothes out the night before, or maybe you meal prep on Sunday for the week and it saves you 30 minutes a day where you would normally be frantically throwing some food in your lunchbox on your way out the door for work. But something as simple as that could potentially save you. So if it takes 30 minutes a day, that's 2.5 hours a week for a work week. That's 10 hours a month. That's 120 hours a year. That's 5 whole days that you're just wasting by not meal prepping and planning ahead for your week. Are you starting to see where I'm going with all of this? So how do we figure out what's actually important and which projects and tasks and activities should we be prioritizing and which ones should we be getting rid of? Have you heard of the Pareto principle? It's also known as the 80-20 rule. So the idea is that 80% of your results come from only 20% of your activities. So if you were to look at your achievements, you would most likely be able to clearly identify the actions that got you to that result, right? A great exercise to help you see this is, and this is great for my artistic friends out there because you get to draw a little bit, but you get to paint a clear picture of what your 20% is. So you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. So if you want to pause here and go grab a paper and pen, this would really only take a few minutes, I promise. So you're going to make two lists on this paper. So on the right side of your paper, you're going to put all of your wins, your proudest moments, your biggest achievements, the goals that you've achieved, anything big like that, you're going to put on the right side of this paper. Maybe that's filling your appointments up for the next 6 months, or winning an award, or hitting some kind of income goal, finishing a project that was really successful. Whatever that is for you, that goes on the right side of the paper. On the left side of the paper, you're going to list your daily activities that you just do day in, day out. Like, what are the things that you are constantly working on and doing throughout your day? And that's going to be real easy to fill out if you do the time audit, right? So once your lists are done, you're going to draw a line from your wins to the activities that led you there. So hitting your income goal meant like you scheduled this many appointments, and so you draw your line to scheduling appointments. So you're going to draw the lines from your goals over to the activities that got you there. And then this is going to create a very clear diagram for you on what helped you to reach those goals and what had nothing to do with them. And now that you have that idea, you can then make the same diagram with your future goals and your current task list to see how that pans out, and you'll have your answers. So maybe there's nothing on your task list that will even get you to these new goals that you have, which means it's time to change up your task list quick, right? Your goal in this exercise and in life really is to fill more of your time with these activities that are pushing your goals, so that the big results that you're seeing start to align with what's most significant to you, what's most important to you, like getting to those big goals. Sometimes the problem is we don't really know how to prioritize what we're doing and what not to do in this moment. And this is a tricky one to learn. So most of us would think, well, whatever's most important needs to be done first. But what does that even mean? What makes something important or not important? Is it whatever makes the biggest impact? Kind of, but there's more to consider with that. We might think it's whichever one has the soonest due date, but sometimes that's not the answer. But a lot of times we prioritize it because we start to panic about deadlines and due dates. The key to deciding is the combination of the urgency and the significance of the task. So these factors are what's helping me decide what matters and what doesn't matter. So if urgency means how soon is this going to matter? So if my due date is next week, it's going to matter pretty fucking quickly. Significance means how long is this going to matter? So let me go back to this kid I mentioned earlier, because Jesus Christ, he was the epitome of what doesn't matter. Wow, that sounded real fucking mean. I don't mean like him as a person. I meant, okay, so the things that he did were like the epitome of doesn't matter, right? So as I said before, the goal is to make pizzas accurately, deliver them on time, and reset the store at the end of the night. So let's say that it's the dinner rush. He's making pizzas. He has 15 orders to make, and he drops cheese on the floor. He panics, runs back to grab a broom, leaving the pizza that he's working on the make table, and he has to sweep up the cheese, toss it in the trash. Then he's got to return the broom to the closet. Now he has to go to the sink and wash his hands before he can go back to making pizzas. Was this urgent? No, not at all. Sweeping the floor in that moment does not get that pizza made more accurately. It gets the cheese off the floor more accurately, but the cheese in this moment does not fucking matter. Like, it matters. Don't waste cheese. But, but the end goal, the grand scheme of things, we're trying to get these pizzas done and out the door. And if you're stopping to sweep up cheese, you're wasting time and you're not getting us closer to that goal of on-time orders, right? So was it important? If you've ever worked in a restaurant, you know the floor is fucked during a dinner rush. And regardless of how many times you sweep it during the day, after the rush, you're going to be sweeping and mopping it again anyway at the end of the night. So was this significant? How long do you think that floor stayed clean after he swept it? I would put money on him dropping something else at some point because, like I said, he was spastic and dropping stuff and being messy and just a maniac. So his clean floor is not going to last long at all. So pretty much no significance. This was not something that was important and should not have been prioritized. If you're the type of person like me that likes to keep a to-do list, a really easy way to understand the order of priority of your tasks is to ask yourself these 3 questions. Is it urgent? Is it important? And is it significant? The goal is to stay working on the things that are a combination of important, urgent, and significant, and not to just be busy. Busy gets you nowhere except burnout. There's only so much time in the day, and we all only get those 24 hours. If we're expected to sleep 8 of those hours, that leaves us 16 hours to cram all of the rest of the things that we do into those hours. If we want to be productive and efficient, we have to make sure that there's a reason for the things that we're doing, and we're not just spinning tires doing busy work. So when people are asking me, how do you get so much done? How are you able to do so many things in a day? They're actually missing the most important part of the question, which is, what are you doing with your day in order to get so much done? And I guess if I could put this answer into one sentence, it would be, I'm intentionally protecting my time by making proactive decisions and by effectively prioritizing where I'm spending my time.